and welcome back to my channel of Welshman Reviews, and welcome back to Horror Friday. So yes, this has been a while coming. I got to really keep up on my Horror Fridays, I think, on this. So I thought I'd jump in with the latest horror movie that I watched in the cinema, which is Blumhouse's Imaginary. So this movie was directed by Jeff Wadlow, who wrote it as well. I think he's well known with Blumhouse as well. I think he directed Fantasy Island with that as well, Truth and Dare. I think he did Kick-Ass 2 as well. And the movie stars DeWanda Wise as Jessica. I was wondering where I recognised her from. She was in the last Jurassic Park Dominion. She was the pilot in that. Also stars Tegan Burns as Taylor, Piper Braun as Alice, who are her two stepdaughters, oldest and the youngest one. Tom Payne as Max, and he was another one. I was like, I recognise him from somewhere, and he was Jesus in the Walking Dead series. So yeah, I think. And Betty Buckley as Gloria, the older next door neighbour to this family. So a little bit about the plot is Jessica moves into her childhood home with her husband and her two stepdaughters, Taylor, the older, broody one, and Alice, the younger, more traumatized one, only to discover the imaginary friend she had left behind years ago has now befriended the younger sister, Alice. So yeah, pretty much Jessica had this imaginary friend when she was 5 years old. She doesn't remember anything of this now in her adult life. She doesn't. All she has is kind of suppressed memories, it is, of her time as a child. She doesn't know. She just gets these nightmares of a like a Spider-Man type thing, like a man with spider legs and stuff like that coming after her. You get a dream sequence in the beginning of the movie, which with her father as well, which comes into play later on in the movie. But yeah, she's grown up and she uses them things, and that as she has become a she writes books, sort of draws books and that. So what the thing is, I can't remember the name she uses for the spider and the centipede or the centipede or whatever that she called it and that, but she kind of draws like a more of a kiddie type version of her nightmares. It is. So she moves into her, as I said, moves into her father's house because he's kind of lost his mind from a trauma when she was 5. She thinks she got moved. She moved in with her aunt, is it auntie or grandmother or something like that after that, because his father does something which I don't really want to spoil. I don't, because it is a nice little it's part of the movie, the thing, so I won't spoil that. I'll try and keep this as non-spoiler as I can. I'll try not to spoil anything. But yeah, with her father comes back later on in the movie and all that to explain it all towards the end in the third act. It is. But yeah, she moves into that parents' house and all that. Yeah, she has two stepdaughters. Taylor's the older one, doesn't really like her and all that. She's more in with Alice because they've both had traumas. Alice and Taylor's mother has kind of gone a bit insane, and she did burn Alice's left arm when she and they show it a lot in this movie. It is. So it's pretty much the same old tropes in these movies where the stepmother and the stepdaughters and all that don't get on, and then they get on by the end of the movie. Then they're all best buddies and stuff like that. It is. You got Tom Payne's character Max, the father, another trope of the movie as well, where he's in there a little bit. He tries his best with the daughters, but then he has to go away. He's a musician. He has to go away, so he leaves Jessica with Taylor and Alice. Alice finds this bear who she befriends. You find out then it's an imaginary friend that Jessica had when she was younger as well. So it gets her to do a lot of sketchy things. So she's doing a scavenger hunt where she has to collect certain things like dead bugs. She's got to hurt herself, etc. Stuff like that, where he will take her then to his imaginary land, which is called the Never Ever. It is. But you do get a nice little change during the movie and that, where you find out, and this is probably the only little spoiler I will do. After Alice she has a one-on-one with a psychiatrist. You find out the bear ain't real. The bear's the only Jessica and Alice can see the bear. Nobody else can see it. So we get to that point then when we find out that was Jessica's imaginary friend. Then we have a next door neighbour, Betty Buckley, who pretty much is just in the movie to give you exposition of the movie. I keep forgetting that word I do, which is I'll get into my likes and dislikes, which I'll mention then. But then you find out that Betty, Gloria's character, babysat her Jessica when she was a child, so that comes into play with it as well. Overall, with this movie, I did enjoy it, to be honest. I did enjoy it at all. Don't get me wrong, it's nothing perfect. It's a typical Blumhouse movie as of late. It is. It's similar with Night Swim, and was Night Swim a Blumhouse movie? I think it was, wasn't it? Five Nights at Freddy, Megan, and stuff like that, where it doesn't know where it wants to sit. It doesn't know whether it wants to be an R-rated movie or more for the teenagers and that. Because this one is a 15 over here in Britain, and it does drop the F-bomb once in it. But be honest, man, this could have been a 12, to be honest. I don't see it being a 15. I think it is more catered to the teenage thing. But if they went a bit more with the gore, like a bit more with the atmosphere and a bit more gore, a little bit more blood than that, I think it would have been a really good movie overall. So I'll go into my likes and dislikes. I will. So my positives are, like I do for most things, the acting is very good in this, especially the young actress, Piper Braun, who plays Alice. She has a really good scene with the psychiatrist where she kind of like breaks down. She's arguing with the bear, it is, and says, I don't want to be a friend. She starts crying and all that. And it is a very tough watch if you've probably got kids and that. It is, but she plays that part absolutely perfect. The rest do a good job. The Wonder Wise as an excellent. Tegan Burns does the broody teenager very good indeed. I think Betty Buckley's character is a bit over the top in some scenes and that, but I think Tom Payne, can't really say much about him. He's not much in the movie, but he does good for what he's in it. The same as Veronica Falcon, who plays the doctor, Dr. Soto. She's only in it for one scene, but does a good job while you're at it. It is. So, some good acting in the movie. Directing's alright as well. Nothing too stellar, to be honest, out of this and that. And it does well to tackle the trauma and the mental health of the characters in this movie, especially Jessica and Alice, who have had trauma in their life. Do really pick up on that. Really good they do in the movie. And they give it a good... what's the word I'm looking for? They play it very, very good. Not they don't go over the top with it and all that. They're subtle with it. They give it a bit of credit. They give it not credit. They but you know what I mean. They do good with it and that. They do. So yeah, I kind of like that as well. And there is as well. You got the little bear throughout the rest of the movie, but towards the end and all that, you see it a bit when it's transformed into a big hulking beast it is. So I did like the design. I like the design of the Spider-Man as well that you see in it as well. You don't see that often. You see it a bit in the beginning and towards the end as well. You don't see a lot of it, but I think it's some good designs where if they do a sequel, don't know if they will or they won't, hopefully they delve a little bit more into that. So not so much of a thing. This movie did remind me a bit of like Insidious as well, where you have the real world and then you have another world as well and that. So it kind of reminded me a bit of that, which, if I'm not mistaken, that was a Blumhouse movie as well. It is. Excuse me. We'll go into my negatives now, and like I said before, it didn't really know what it wanted to be with an R-rated and a teen film. A lot of the a lot of the Blumhouse movies as of late really do have an identity problem, in my opinion. I think Five Nights at Freddy, Megan and all that, they try and cater for the 15, like the teenager and all that, where I think they should go heavily on R, in my opinion. They should bring out a bit more blood and gore in these movies and that. So they're kind of my disappointment in the Blumhouse movies as of late, where they have a pretty good story. I like the story for this. I thought it was really good with the imaginary friend and etc. But if they went more R-rated, had a couple of more deaths, a bit of blood, because I think you only see a little bit of blood in this. There's one death towards the end of the movie, or right in the third act, but it's not really much. I think that's it throughout the whole movie. There's no other deaths or anything like that. It plays more on the atmosphere and stuff like that in these movies, but I think these movies need a little bit more kills in them and a little bit more gore, in my opinion. It is. What other things have I put? Yeah, they put a character in. I said that as well. They just put a character in that Betty Buckley's character just to give a bit of exposition towards the end of the movie, which they do in majority of the movies. And like I said, I think I said this as well earlier as well. The same tropes you see from most of the movies and that, where you got the stepmother, stepdaughters, moody doing things you shouldn't be doing, going down into cellars or the basements, etc., on your own in the dark. You see it all the time in other movies and that. And yeah, I think they need to try and... I think Blumhouse really needs to try to up their game with some of these movies and that, because they just seem to be just chucking stuff out left, right and centre now. And don't get me wrong, some are hits. Not all of them. There's more misses than there is hits, unfortunately. But I would say this is more of a hit than this. And I think that's about it for the thing. The only other one as well, there is a load of Easter eggs in this. I can't remember them all, but the one that did thing, I'm pretty sure the town that they moved to where the house is, or the street's name, is Springwood. So if you're a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, there we go. It's a nice little Easter egg put in for that. But yeah, overall I enjoyed this movie. I'd probably give it a solid 6 out of 10, really. 5.5, 6 out of 10. Good average movie. Could have been a lot better if it'd done a couple of more different things, like the R-rated, a bit of blood, a bit of deaths, etc. Oh, I forgot to mention as well, there is a boy next door who does drugs. If you watch the movie, you'd understand. So there's another trope there for the movie as well. But yeah, I give it a solid 5.5, 6 out of 10. Average movie it is. So I do recommend catch it when it's out on streaming. Something like that, I would say. I say I wouldn't go to the cinema to see it. Catch it on streaming. I think you'd be kind of pleasantly surprised, to be honest. But yeah, that's my review for Imaginary. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment below. Tell me if you're going to go and see it or not. Or if you have seen it, what you thought of it. And if you'd like to see more videos, please subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Bye.